Hey friends, this is Marilyn from Tarot Clarity. This is part 3. This is a continuation of the Visconti Sforza cards that I happen to have. The Modrone, the Brambilla, and the Pierpont Morgan Visconti Sforza. So this would be the Visconti Modrone, the Brambilla, and the what's known as the Visconti Sforza. One thing I neglected to say before I ended the other video is that with Marco Benedetti's Modrone, we do have faith, hope, and charity, which I think I did mention. Oh, this is the not the Modrone, rather this is the Visconti Sforza. He did include faith, hope, and charity, which I think, I don't know if they were extant to the deck or if they were taken from the Modrone. And then he does have, as an option in the Visconti, his personal Visconti, the Emperor from the Brambilla. And then he's got a few options here, which are Temperance, the Devil, the Star, the Moon from different sources, or possibly composite, the Sun. So I failed to mention that. Okay, so here we go. These three are the Modrone, Visconti Modrone. These three are the Pierpont Morgan Visconti Sforza. So we have Lo Scarabeo, we have U.S. Game Systems. Remember, U.S. Game Systems just photograph the cards as they exist. So this is probably the hand. And Lo Scarabeo, I think did a pretty good job cleaning things up and trying to, you could tell that this is recreated, but you can also tell that it's based on the actual deck. And you see, of course, the border, And Marco's Modrone, we have kind of a facsimile closer to the U.S. Game Systems because the hand is missing. And Lo Scarabeo puts it in there. And for the Visconti Sforza, which probably came a little bit later, we have the Brambilla. Now we can start looking at the Brambilla because the Brambilla has more of the pip card. Look at that card. Isn't that gorgeous? The Brambilla is so beautiful. It's really sad that we don't have the Brambilla intact because this deck must have been something. And then we have the Visconti Sforza ace. So we have the Modrone ace, which maybe is a little easier to see in Marco's, which is original. We have the Brambilla. And I think, this is their motto, I think, which means that they have the right to rule, something like that. They have the right to rule, which is here too. In Marco's personal Visconti and also in the Il Meneghello Visconti Sforza deck. We have the two swords. Pretty much looks authentic to me. We have Marco's. If something was written on there, which probably was the motto, Lo Scarabeo didn't put it in, and we just see a suggestion of it in both of Marco's and the U.S. Game Systems decks. And in the Visconti Sforza, Pierpont Morgan, I suppose it would be like this way. Not too far, not too dissimilar from one another. Either different artists from a different time, or if it is Bimbo, I don't know. I wonder, if I don't know who the artist was. I can't, I don't know. I thought it was bamboo for at least the Modrone, but I don't know about the Visconti Sforza. Okay, I think we have an authentic card. For the three swords, I think the three swords for the Visconti Sforza. Oh, what did I do? I forgot to show the two. I love the Brambilla swords in particular. Whereas the other swords of this, you know, are straight, right? The Brambilla are just so beautiful. Just so beautiful. I love how the Brambilla cards look. For the two of swords, any of the swords. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. Oh, if anybody could ever recreate the Brambilla, you know, and just really try to make it fit in with what exists of the Brambilla, that would be so awesome. Even if they took cards, other Triumph cards from the other Sforza Visconti decks, that'd be fine, you know. It would be fine, but it'd be so cool to have a intact Brambilla because these cards, these are so beautiful. And so here we have the Three of Swords of the other decks, and then the Brambilla again. This is where, you know, I recently did a video where we saw like the odd cards created this way. I mean, I know this must be where Valentina DeLuca got her idea because I know she does it, but there are other decks that I've seen that do it. But I guess they all owe a tribute to the Brambilla because that's where we saw it first. I don't think there was any others that came before this one. There could be. Here we have the fours. It's interesting. They don't seem to lose their pip cards. They just lose their Triumph cards. Or maybe the Triumph cards, not all of them maybe were created, you know. Then here we have, okay, we're missing the four of the Brambilla. But these do seem to be authentic to the Modrone. And we do seem to be missing the four for the Brambilla. But I presume it would be 2 and 2. And then here we have the four of the Visconti Sforza. I'm just putting them the same way. Ah, hold on. This is the three. Ah, okay. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know what happened to the three. I think the three is missing from, I think the three in the Pierpont Morgan had to be recreated. I do think that had to be recreated. Let's see. Oh, I could. Oh, the Three of Swords. I think it was the Three of Swords, not batons. Okay, so let's go back and look at the Three of Swords because I think that had to be created. You know, but they all created the Three of Swords pretty seamlessly. So they did a pretty good, you know, I think it was the Three of Swords of the, I don't know, one of the decks. I'm getting confused. I think it was the Three of Swords of the Pierpont Morgan that had to be recreated. So let's go back. I think it was, yeah, this is swords. This isn't batons. Oh gosh, see, I'm starting to get confused. So they look so similar to me. Maybe I'm mistaken. I must be mistaken. Okay, we have the Four of Swords. I guess I showed the 4 swords already. Okay, moving on. 5 of swords. Modrone. Across the board. Look the same to me. We don't have the 5 in the Brambilla. Yes, we do. This is the 5 of the Brambilla. So pretty. You know, now realize that this is, I guess like, I imagine if you were to run your hand against the original card, you would feel the impression. And in a way, it must be my imagination. It kind of feels like you can, I don't know, it's got to be my imagination, because as I'm running my fingers across the surface, I kind of feel the slightest indentation, but I must be imagining things. And then we have the Visconti Sforza. So, across the board, the pips of the Modrone, the Brambilla, and the Visconti Sforza, they're different. It could be different, the aesthetics changed in the family. They wanted something to look different. The 2 Modrones, the 6, look authentic to me. Oh, I got the 4 out of shape. I got the 4 out of order. I apologize. Well, there was the 4 of the Brambilla. I'm sorry, I got it out of order. This is a big job. I'm sorry that I got them out of order. Okay, so this is 6. Same as the other 2 I showed you. Here's a 6 in the Brambilla. So the curvature, the first time we see it in the Visconti cards is in the Brambilla. Because in these early ones, they're straight. And I got a little bit behind on Marco's. Here's 6. Excuse me. It's kind of hard to keep track of all of this. Okay, 7. So 7 in the Modrone. Seems to be authentic. Or if they're not, they're just good recreations. The 7 in the Brambilla is 3 and 4. So cool. Very innovative. And you can see, when I do readings with these cards, particularly with the Modrone, the arrows for batons and the swords for the swords, they look, it's easy to confuse them. But the convention of the curved sword really helps you distinguish it from a baton. Right? And here we have the 7 of the Visconti Sforza, and then Marco's Visconti Sforza. Eight and 8 of the Modrone. All consistently look alike. The 8 of the Brambilla, again, innovative, elegant, and clearly easy to distinguish from the batons, which we haven't gotten to yet. And here we have 6. This is 8. Well, 8. Did I say 6? I'm sorry. So one of the determining factors, I guess, about which one you like is probably which pips you like the best, And I would love it if the Brambilla, gosh, if only the Brambilla could be recreated, or, just even if you just borrowed cards from the other canon of Visconti Sforza, because their pips are so gorgeous. Okay, we have 9. 9, 9, 9 across the board with the Modrone. Seem to be the same. Very similar. The beautiful 9 in the Brambilla, 4 and 5. So beautiful. And then we have the 9 in the Visconti Sforza. Or what is this? Is this not 9? Oh, Lord have mercy. I mixed up. Well, please forgive me. Here we have it. I get heckled a lot, but I don't tolerate disrespect on my own channel. So I just say thank you for commenting and sharing, or thank you for watching and commenting. It helps the algorithm. See ya. And then you're forever hidden from the channel. Constructive, when someone says, oh, Marilyn, I know about this, and then they tell me, I love it, But when someone posts, you're the worst tarot reader I've ever seen. You don't know what any of the cards mean, because they just know, they're familiar with like Rider-Waite-Smith. And so they have no clue about anything that's beyond their experience. So it's like, okay, thank you very much for signing in. See ya. Never see you again. Not tolerant disrespect. Anyway, here we have, what is this, 10? Beautiful. I actually, this is so abstract. It almost becomes an abstraction, right? A design. Oh, it's actually kind of cool. I kind of like that. And then we have the 10 of the Brambilla. Beautiful. And then we have the 10 of the Visconti Sforza Pierpont Morgan. So I'm starting to say things wrong. Oh, this is 9. Oh, I don't know where I'm screwing up here. Oh, I'm missing a 10. Son of a gun. Either that or I just have it in the wrong order. Sadly. I don't know what I did wrong. Oh, here's the 10. No, this is the 8. 9, 10. Okay, I don't know what I did wrong, but even if you didn't see all of them, I think you get the idea, right? This is also pretty cool. A pretty cool abstraction. Okay, now remember, with Modrone, at least, we have 2 of each of the courts. So we have a female page, a female knight, king and queen, along with the male counterpart. Okay, so we have the female valet, probably recreations. She's authentic. Okay, I'm going to say she's authentic. But he's not. Okay, so she's authentic, he's not. Because we have, well, this one's probably taken, where's she taken from? She's taken from someplace else. I don't know. I can't speak with authority. These Marco's and Lo Scarabeo's female page are the same. Okay, so U.S. Game Systems did not include a female page for whatever reason, because I guess they wanted to accommodate modern day readers. So it will be I don't have the, let me pause this for a second. Okay, got it. The female page is authentic. U.S. Game Systems, for whatever reason, didn't include the female page. Okay, so we have the female page of the Modrone and the male page, which looks like it was recreated, because the male page of the U.S. Game Systems is different from the male page of the Modrone, Lo Scarabeo. And Marco seems to have sourced his male page from the Lo Scarabeo. Excuse me, from the Pierpont Morgan Visconti Sforza deck. So the male page, or the, of the Modrone is missing, okay? And we don't have the male page, or the page, or the court or the court of the swords in the Brambilla. And like Marco sourced the male page from Visconti Sforza, here we have it. So we know that this is the male valet or page, came from the Visconti Sforza deck. We have the female knight, which seems to be the original. They both seem to be the same. Huh. Oh, I got the batons in here by mistake. Okay, so the female knight seems to be original to the Modrone across the board here. And now we have the male knight, which seems to be different. And it seems that Marco sourced his male knight from the Visconti Sforza over here. So the recreations are Lo Scarabeo and U.S. Game Systems Inc. recreated a male knight. And Marco took the knight from from the Pierpont Morgan original, right? Okay, Queen of Swords. Well, they seem to, I don't know, not the same. Interestingly, Marco's and Lo Scarabeo's is sourced from the same place, but U.S. Game Systems Inc. is different. But the Queen from Visconti Sforza is also different. So I'm kind of confused. Oh, this must be the maid. Okay, this must be the female valet. I had it in the wrong order. This is the female valet of the Modrone by U.S. Game Systems Inc. Okay, I'm sorry, I do apologize. But the Queen is a recreation because neither Lo Scarabeo or U.S. Games has the original Queen, and Marco provides a Queen, the same Queen as Lo Scarabeo. So where does this Queen come from? Because it's not the same Queen as the Pierpont Morgan Visconti Sforza. I don't know. You can really get confused. Really get confused. Okay, so here we have the King of Swords. So here's the Queen. Okay. I screwed up. So the Queen of Swords in the Modrone is original to the deck, and all three are the same. I'm not sure what I did wrong. I apologize. I do my best. Okay, so those are the same, and they are different from the Queen of the Visconti Sforza. So the Modrone Queen of Swords is authentic. Okay, so here we have the King of Swords. All three of the Modrone appear to be the same. Marco's, US Game Systems, Inc., and Lo Scarabeo. There's some variations in how they, but they're all the same. And then US Games, excuse me, I don't know why I keep calling this US Game Systems, Inc. The Pierpont Morgan Visconti Sforza is different. And we're getting into the cups. Ace of Cups seems to be the original in the Modrone. It certainly wouldn't look like this if it were a recreation, right? So we know that the Ace of Cups is the facsimile in US Game Systems and in Marco's deck. And Lo Scarabeo enhanced it to bring it perhaps to how they imagined it would have looked with their family signet in the center. Some of you who may have been with me for any amount of time may know that I have one of their coins with their symbol. I've shown it a number of times. Do you want me to show it to you now? Okay, twist my arm, hold on. This coin is authentic to 1466 to 76. It's Italy, Grasso, Milan, Galeazzo, Maria Sforza. And you see buckets hanging from a branch, maybe? One of the cooler things in my tarot collection is that I have the card, the coin, an actual coin. Okay, so for the Visconti Sforza Ace of Cups, what's this one? Is this the ace? Wow, look at that. That's the ace in the Brambilla. And then here we have the ace in the Pierpont Morgan, which is more, it becomes a fountain. And Marco's has the same. So it must be authentic to the deck. Wow, so this is the Brambilla's ace. I never noticed it before. And these two are facsimile copies. Marco and US Game Systems Inc. has that. Wow, cool. Okay, moving on to two cups. 2-2 looks authentic to me. And all three. I mean, obviously, Lo Scarabeo is not a facsimile, but they are basing it almost exactly to what the original looked like. They just cleaned it up. But for facsimile decks, we have Marco's and we have US Game Systems Inc. And then for the two cups, for the Brambilla, very similar. They have 2, 4, 6, 8 dots here. We have 2, 4, 6 dots here. And in the Visconti Sforza, it's different. The Pierpont Morgan is different. Three cups. Again, US Game Systems Inc. has the facsimile. Lo Scarabeo cleaned it up. Marco's is a facsimile. Oh, gosh. So it's more in keeping with US Game Systems, although it's brighter and looks a lot more palatable. And then we have the benefit of the Brambilla Three of Cups, different arrangement. I kind of like this arrangement. And then we have that same arrangement in the Visconti Sforza. Wow. So they borrowed from the Brambilla. They like that style. They base their three-cup arrangement on the Brambilla. I wouldn't have realized that or remembered that if I hadn't done this again. And I actually don't ever think I did a video like this anyway. So, but the Brambilla, gosh, it's just so gorgeous. Such a beautiful deck. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, here is the facsimile of the Four Cups as, you know, published by Lo Scarabeo. The cleaned up version by, no, this is US Games, excuse me, by US Games. This is the cleaned up version by Lo Scarabeo. And what happened to the Four Cups of, here we go, Marco's. So these two are the facsimile copies, with Marco's having a little bit more life, you know. Just, you know, it adds more jewel tones to it, you know, which makes it a joy to use in readings. I love using this deck now. I just rediscovered it, and I just love it. I never took to the US game systems, although I appreciate having a real facsimile deck of the Cary Yale. I appreciate it very much. But when you go to use it, it's just kind of hard to use it. Marco's is the benefit of a facsimile, but, you know, with life to it. The Lo Scarabeo is, I oohed and awed over it when I first got it, but I think I even prefer this rendition of pretty much a facsimile that just has the jewel tones without it being so artificial, you know? Okay, do we have a Four of Brambilla? Yes, we do. Look how beautiful. Come on. I think the Brambilla is the prettiest of all. Wow. So it seems that the Pierpont Morgan or the Visconti Sforza, it seems like they borrowed from the Brambilla. The Brambilla came first, right? So they were familiar with it, of course. It was in their family, and they said, yeah, make me a deck like the Brambilla. I really like that deck. I thought it was kind of cool. I think that's what they did. Okay, the Facsimile 5 by US Game Systems, Inc. This Facsimile 5 by Marco, which, as I mentioned, is the facsimile, but it just, you know, is more palatable with jewel tones, right? And then we have the 5 by Lo Scarabeo, which they, you know, I think they attempted to make it appear like it would have originally looked, you know, shiny and silvery and gold and all that, you know, just beautiful the way it was. Now, we don't have, oh yeah, this is the 5. Okay, so we have the 5 of the Brambilla, much like with the 10. When we see the card, the cup laying across, we see that in the Brambilla. And then it's copied again in the Pierpont Morgan Visconti Sforza. So the Visconti Sforza really copied from the Brambilla. There was admiration for the Brambilla. It's, you know, we're seeing it. We're seeing it pretty good. Facsimiles of the 6 of Cups in both cases. Lo Scarabeo. US Game Systems is, you know, how it actually is. I think Marco took a facsimile copy and then brightened it up to make it palatable for us. There's a detail there in the middle there. It almost looks like a human figure. Or part of one. Like a person standing in their foot and their hand. but I could be imagining. Okay, so that's the 6, and then Lo Scarabeo completely doesn't pay attention to whatever that is in the middle. Just puts a flower there. The Brambilla, not so different. And the Pierpont Morgan, Visconti Sforza, not so different either. 7 cups, okay. So the Brambilla. Okay, here we have the facsimile copy in the U.S. Games and Marco's, which is just a little brighter. We do see a pattern in the cups, which we see in the Lo Scarabeo. I don't know. I really think that of these 3, that Marco's publication is the best. And I mean, I would be objective. I can be. But when I first saw this compared to this, I thought, oh, the Lo Scarabeo, it's just, I know it's flashy and a little bit on the trashy, but, I recognize that they made an effort, and they made a nice effort, especially when they had to recreate cards, right? Their recreated cards, as you saw on the Triumph cards. They did a better job, I think, than U.S. Game Systems and, trying to fit it in, right? But when we're just looking at facsimile versus, total brightening up, I think Marco's facsimile holds up better than the Lo Scarabeo, and U.S. Game Systems, which is probably just the way it looked, but he enhanced it in such a way that it's just beautiful. So here we have 7, and we have 7, same arrangement in the Brambilla, and the same arrangement with the Visconti Sforza. Okay, this is already getting pretty long. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to break this in half. Continue with the pips in another video. I don't know. Maybe I could just move it along a little bit. So this is 8. Here we have 8. I'm going to compare Marco's. Okay, so here we have Marco's Modrone with the Brambilla for 8, and then we have the same arrangement with Pierpont Morgan, Visconti Sforza. So you see they have different... Oh no, I dropped a card. Oh my gosh. I've never dropped a card before. I'm going to cry. Happily it was face up. No harm, no foul. Okay, so here we have Wish Fulfillment card, the flashy, trashy Lo Scarabeo, the facsimile of U.S. Game Systems Inc. compared to the facsimile of Marco's, which seems to just bring out the jewel tones, which makes it a superior deck for me for reading. Then we have I think I'm going to skip these 2 from now on, and I'm just going to use Marco's facsimile with the Brambilla and the Pierpont Morgan, okay? Just to make it quicker. So we have the Wish Fulfillment cards, same arrangement across the board. Remember, this production is by Il Meneghello, and this one is Marco's. So, we see when the Visconti Sforza got around, to their pips, they borrowed heavily from the Brambilla, right? They definitely borrowed from the Brambilla. Here's the 10. So like the 5 that they had the extra card, they put the extra card at the top. And then we have it here. But again, the decorative nature of the cups is the same in the Visconti Sforza as in the Brambilla. Okay, we have the female page of cups, and we have the male page of cups. So since the other decks don't seem to have the female, I'm just going to skip the female for this. Okay, so we have the male. So the male in the Modrone, the male in the Brambilla, and the male in the Visconti Sforza. They're all different. But the Visconti Sforza seems to have, have a nod to the Brambilla. Okay, skipping the female Knight of Cups. Here's the male Knight of Cups. In the Modrone, which I presume is, I should check just to make sure. Yeah, he's the same. Oh no, that's different. That was recreated. This is the male. Okay. Okay. So the So the knights are different across the board. So the knight is different in the Modrone, which is different in the Brambilla, and is different in the Visconti Sforza. Okay, we don't have the queen of the Brambilla. And the queen of the Visconti Sforza and the Modrone are different. And the king are different. We don't happen to have it from the Modrone, the Brambilla. I noticed that in some of the in the Visconti Sforza decks, they kind of infantilize. Well, they make themselves look really young. The king and queen look really young. I know there's a word I'm trying to think of, but I'm not saying it right. Okay, so moving on to the Ace of Swords. Here we have the Ace of Swords of the Modrone, more or less a facsimile with some enhancement to make it look really beautiful, jewel tone. Oh, wow, we have the gorgeous Ace of Swords of the Brambilla. Oh, my God. And then we have the Ace of Swords of the Visconti Modrone. You know what? The Brambilla, that was the deck to have, man. That was the deck to have. If I was born in those days, I'd want the Brambilla. Oh, no. Did I say swords? This is batons. I said swords. My apologies. This is the batons, okay? See, it's so easy to make the mistake. This is batons. This is the baton, which in the Brambilla is really easy to distinguish from the swords because in the Brambilla we have the curved, whereas in the Modrone and the Pierpont Morgan we have straight swords and batons. So you have two batons. In the Modrone, the batons look like arrows, which can easily be confused with swords. But in the Brambilla, they got smart because they made the swords curved and they made the batons straight. So they took the idea from the Modrone for the Visconti Sforza to have their motto. Again, the Brambilla is innovative in how they distribute the pips, right? So we have 3 batons, 3 arrows bunched together. Here we have 2 1/3. But here they did not copy. The Visconti Sforza did not copy from the Brambilla. Interesting. They were more of a nod to the Modrone. Interesting. Oh. 4, 4, and 4. Again, the Modrone, the Brambilla. Just gorgeous. You know, I think definitely the Brambilla was the deck. We have 5, so we have the arrow going up. We have the 5th arrow on the side in the Brambilla, and we have more of the. They're all different, but the configuration of the pips are the same in the more Modrone and the Visconti Sforza, and the Brambilla is, again, more innovative. 6 batons or 6 arrows, 6 batons in the Brambilla, 6 batons in the Visconti Sforza. Seven. Again, with the Brambilla being innovative with the sword going sideways, but with the Visconti Sforza emulating the configuration of the Modrone, but being innovative in representing the batons differently. Batons. Nine batons, again with the Brambilla having the baton going to the odd baton on the side. So I'd be interested to know which of these decks, you thought were the most beautiful. I mean, of the complete decks, I really prefer the Modrone because I just think it's gorgeous, But if I had an intact Brambilla, that would be the deck to have, man. For me, personally. So beautiful. In any case, in any, all of them. Okay, now I'm going to skip the female page. And apparently Brambilla is missing the page of anybody. So we have the page in the Modrone of batons, and we have the page of Modrone in the Visconti Sforza. And in the Modrone, he's missing a legging, which is kind of interesting. Here we have the Knight of baton in all 3. So the horse is identical. So it's either painted, consistently by Bonifacio Bembo or somebody who copied, Bembo. But this horse is quite different. So maybe this horse is not authentic. Maybe this, let me see what we have for the Knight of Batons. I have to go through all of these because I didn't showcase these. So it must be authentic because Marco has it. So the Visconti Sforza Knight is authentic, because Marco's would not be the same as Il Meneghellos if they were not authentic. And they're different from the Bambos. But you can see the similarity in those horses. Those horses are identical. Even the posture of the leg is identical. So I guess Bonifacio must have done the Brambilla and the Modrone. Okay, so here we have the Queen of Batons. We have the Queen of Batons in the Brambilla and the Queen of Batons in the Visconti Sforza, which is the same as Marco's. Okay, we're almost through, guys, but I think for me, I would be doing this for myself. This is how I would be spending my Friday day. This is exactly what, so I figured I might as well just video it and share it with other people who are interested, because this is how I'm spending my day. This is how I spend a lot of days. So here we have the King of Batons in the Modrone. Here we have the King of Batons in the Brambilla. Remember, it's definitely authentic, because if it weren't, it would be missing, because the Il Meneghello only produced the existing cards in the Brambilla. Boy, that's a great looking, it's so beautiful. And then here is the King in the Visconti Sforza Pierpont Morgan. And now we're down to the aces, which is the last suit. Okay, so we have more or less it with the same family coin, or right? It's the there it is. And the Brambilla doesn't seem to put that symbol on the coin, and nor does the Visconti Sforza. I guess Sforza had to get in there and put his own shield in there, maybe. Two coins. Yeah, so the Visconti Modrone, they made it a point of putting their symbol on the card, on the coins. But we don't see it in the Brambilla, and we don't see it in the Visconti Sforza. We see it in this one. No, we see another coin, or a different side, maybe. The Brambilla. We have the same configuration of 3 with the other dots in the background. And then here we have the same configuration of 3 with the motto. Repeat it. Okay, I guess the Brambilla is missing the 4. Or did I show that by mistake? Yeah, the Brambilla is missing the 4. So we have the Modrone, And we have the Visconti Sforza, each of them with the same configuration of the coins with, you know, a banner, probably in both cases showing the family motto. And we have the fives. Interestingly, we have the same configuration. Unlike the cups, we don't have 4 and then a 5th, right? We have the 5 in the middle in the Brambilla. And then we have, in the Visconti Sforza, we have the occasion to put the family motto. And this is the pattern we see when Lo Scarabeo put the pattern on the fabric to enhance, you know, that's the pattern that they put on the garments. Gosh, this Brambilla. Oh, man. I mean, it would be quite a task to complete the Brambilla. I mean, you'd have to use cards from other Visconti Sforza decks that were created in the same hand. You know, like if we know that Bonifacio Bembo created the Brambilla, then anything that we know that he created that was missing from this deck, you know, should be used. I think, in my opinion. Okay, 7. So similar. We're almost done, guys. This is the last suit, and we're at an 8. So the Brambilla, you know, I think the Brambilla and the Modrone were definitely probably made by the same hand. It's just that maybe by the Brambilla got a little more sophisticated and got a little more inventive. And then with the Visconti Sforza, they owed something to the Brambilla. I don't know if it was created by the same artist or somebody else. And this is just my own non-expert thoughts based on looking at the decks myself. I'm not a scholar by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just a person who just loves tarot and loves looking at the cards. And these are my favorite kind of videos to make. But unfortunately, these videos will probably only get like 20 or 30 views each, you know. And everybody likes the true crime and everybody likes the politics. But these are what I like the most. So we have the Modrone and the Brambilla looking very, very similar. Very similar. Even the coins, even what's in the coins looks similar. Wow. And this one is just simplified with the symbol or the I don't know what it is, but it's just like we see it repeated in the garment of the Modrone court cards. So this is some type of symbol for the family too. $888. Oh, 10, 10, 10, excuse me. 10, 10, 10. And now we're just down to the courts, which are all going to be different, I think. Well, let's skip the female page because I don't think the others have it. So we have the page of coins in the Modrone, in the Brambilla, and in the Visconti Sforza, Pierpont Morgan. In these two, we see again the page with a missing little stocking, which is kind of interesting. Where else? We just saw it recently in one of the pages, didn't we? And we have the female knight, which I'm skipping because the others don't have it. So we have the knight holding a coin. Brambilla knight. Oh, sadly, we don't have the queen or king. The Brambilla knight. Oh, so pretty. Look at that horse. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. And then the Visconti Sforza knight. Now, the Modrone goes in this direction, and the Brambilla and the Visconti Sforza go in the same direction. And then the Queen and King. So here are the queens of the Modrone and Visconti Sforza. And I wonder if she was missing because, let me look it up. Let me find it. Hold on. Well, this must be the original queen to the Modrone because both Marco and Lo Scarabeo have the same card. And we saw this written on the garment of one of the Triumph cards, I think, right? Or was it? I don't remember. I'm getting confused. But if you've been with me for all of these videos in this series, in the sequence, then you know what I'm talking about. And then we have the queen in the Visconti Sforza, which looks in a different direction. And in the Modrone, the queen has an attendant who presents the coin to her, who delivers the coin to her. And that would change and, affect a reading, right? And here she has it securely on her own lap, and there's no one there. And the king in the Modrone and the king in the Visconti Sforza, which by all accounts appears to be, an authentic card. So these are the Visconti decks that I have, the Visconti Sforza decks. I did, as I mentioned, have one other, but it just doesn't seem like it was worthy, And I do have the modern Visconti homage by Marco, but I didn't include it because it's a modern homage. It's not like a facsimile kind of deck, or it's not big. It's not one of these kind of decks, historic decks. So I didn't include it. So next, I'm going to do the earliest known decks of the Venetian era that I have. That doesn't mean that they're the only ones. I just don't have. Because I don't show a deck doesn't mean it doesn't exist, right? I just don't happen to have it. And then I'm going to do the Florentine decks and then the Bolognese. So I just want to do like a concentrated series. I'm going to put this in its own playlist. Find time to say it in the last video that no one's going to be watching. If you watch it, I'd appreciate knowing that you did. And I'm doing this for myself and for those of you who love historic tarot cards because they're great. Okay, until next time, friends. Peace, stay well, be brave. Show up, speak up, and vote.